Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, July 1st. Second quarter in the books. This is the QOL pre-market analysis. So welcome if you're new. If you are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel and then hit that thumbs up button for me if you like this video. Down in the description, there's a couple links there. One, you can join our website. And on the website, you can put your name and your email address in there on the front page, and you'll get our newsletter, weekly newsletter that we put out on Sundays. And we put out 15 editions so far. And in that newsletter, we pretty much go over the week in review and then what's to expect the market ahead. Also below that link, you can join our Discord community. That is free. And that is a WAP link. And when you get to that link there, you can join our free channel. And in that channel, you will get access to a levels channel where if you want me to cover any levels for you, I'll be glad to do that. And then also, if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade to our live trading room from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time every day. So, all right, with that being said, let's get into it right now. We had some economic data that came out at 7:15, non-farm unemployment change. 98,000, 118,000 expected. I think that may have a little tiny negative impact on the market, but we'll see where that goes from there. One thing to keep in mind, Kevin Warsh is speaking today, 8 o'clock, and he's in Portugal right now, so I think all eyes and ears will be on that to see his body language. So I am really kind of getting weary on this rally right now. So we'll take a look at things to see where that goes from there. So again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. And then also don't forget to hit the links down below so you can get all that other access to fun and exciting things that we have coming up right now, especially with this QOL ORB charting analysis indicator coming out as well. So get into the VIX, look at the VIX real quick. Okay, VIX, here we go. So VIX is, it's hanging out down here right now. However, like we were saying, we still have these open point controls. We have these gap downs rather from, let's see here. One from April 8th at 25.74, and then we have another one from March 30th sitting at $30.74. So we leave those on the charts, and as we get closer to those, we know that those are levels where you can get a little reaction, whether it's below the market or above the market, right? And it's that. So, but we do like this, consolidation period right now. We are below the 20-day, 20 and the 50. The 50 is sitting at $17.64, so it's nice that it's below that. And also below the 20 at $18.11. And obviously the 20 is sitting at $20.09 up there. So let's get into oil real quick. Oil hanging around. The same thing on oil. We have some gap downs. One from June 15th at $84.34 a barrel. However, it's pretty flat right now. We're staying below the 200 at $73.92, which is nice. And we're also below the 20-day moving average at $79.91 a barrel. That's nice too. It's still holding the $67.83. I'd like to see us flush below that. That would be great. But it's going to take time for it to truly impact us as retailers at the gas pump, right? And it really makes sense because all these companies, they bought oil when oil was elevated, right? And they're still working through their inventory. So it'll take time to work through that. So I'd say in about another month or two, especially these companies are not going to be low in gas prices going into the travel season, right? It's going to be, you got the summer travel coming up right now. So there's no way they're going to be quick to lower prices, no matter what kind of tweet Trump, throws on the table there, telling them that price gouging is not going to be accepted. But, it's a matter of economics for these companies now. So as you can see this gap down here, $84.34. Hopefully we stay flat here right now. I'd like to see us lose $67.83 a barrel, and that would actually be pretty good for us at the pump here. So Let's get into the ES. Moving on. ES right now, nice little pop up here yesterday. This news right now, we're looking at a 15-minute chart. It seems, not favorable, so we could get some flush today. I think it'll be important for us to hold this 20-day moving average. When the market opens up, it's probably going to open up at 75.02, which is a 20-day. And then if we lose this 74.98, we got the 50-day down here at 74.61.05. Below that, 74.27.44 is June low. But keep in mind, we're on a new month right now, so we're starting a new month. It's just like, for all you, the day traders, and the levels that I'm going over right now, pretty much for intraday trading, right? I do give some, further out levels, but most of it is for intraday trading, so you can pay attention, have these levels on your charts for when the market opens up. And if you're in positions, you can know that, okay, well, I'm looking for a long over here, or I'm looking to get out of a long up here, or maybe get start a new position on a short, right? So anyways, that being said, new month, which means it's new data. It's the first day of data for the month. So it's almost like trading on the first candle of the open. Data's got, it's got to find its direction. It will find its direction at some point, and then, then you can make your trade analysis and your trade, your trade thesis based off of that once it gets developed. So I would say a little choppiness right now. You've got tomorrow's the last day of the trading week because we got a holiday on Friday. Keep that in mind. And also, in about another 20 minutes, you're going to have Kevin Moore speak. And so there's going to be a lot of attention to the words that come out of his mouth and his body language, right? So they may be getting ahead of that. And then also another thing to keep note, there's going to be some rebalancing that's happening next week regarding SpaceX. So it's part of the NASDAQ 100. So that means that these funds are required to have SpaceX part of their portfolio. So I think there's like 100 funds, and I did some research on it this morning, and I think that NVIDIA will have some rebalancing. I think they're going to have to sell. They may have to sell some of these, some of these funds will have to sell $305 million worth of NVIDIA, which is, I think, comes out to like 1.6 million shares. I think there's 166 million shares that are traded today. I don't see it impacting that much. However, keep in mind, now, does that mean that SpaceX is going to go to the moon on July 6th? It could be happening already. People could be front running that information. I'm not the only one that has that information. So keep in mind, most of these, between NVIDIA, Apple, all the Mag 7, they're going to be doing some rebalancing. I don't see it, being earth-shattering. However, it could impact all the Mag 7 stocks, right, including Tesla as well. So anyways, getting back to it, got to hold this call it 7,500 number. If you lose that, 74.61 is your next level, and then you could keep a chart on this. I do like this pull back down here to the 74.0855. We had a point of control that was filled earlier this week. I just did not mark it down here. I will mark that later on. And then you have those June lows at 72.92.25. So as this month goes on, it's going to be important to hold the June lows 72.92.25. If you lose those lows, then you're coming down to the 100-day, right? So that's a pretty big range that I gave you on the upside today. If you do get some push, I would anticipate getting some resistance up here at this 7,600 level, right? But your range right now, your breakout range is yesterday's high and yesterday's low, right? So we'll just to move along, I'll just mark those with greens and reds so you know what they are, and then we will move along. All right, and that's done. So there's your range right here for today. You break above that, you're looking long. Break below that, you're looking short, right? I'm not looking for, the 20-day is going to be your first level of defense here, right? 75.10, you got to hope you hold that, right? Anyways, we'll see what happens after Kevin Moore speaks today. So we'll be a little wiser before the market even opens up. So let's get over to the SPY. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and like this video here. So nothing's really changed here on my levels. We didn't have any big breakouts or anything. We are trending up, but you had that big wick down here, and when was that? It was last week. I think it was last Friday, right? Big sell-off, big rally towards the end of the day. Pushing higher right now. Could be consolidating right now. We are above the 20 at 742, so you're going to have to hold that level. It's the same thing on the ES. Hold the 20, you're going long. Lose the 20, going down to the 50. 50 sitting at 735.87, so watch those levels there. Onto the NASDAQ, and we are moving along. So the NASDAQ right here, same thing. Nice, pullback to the 20s would be nice. 30,067. That would be a good pullback. If you lose that, 29,923 is your next line of support here. You could see how it responded right here in post market on I think this was Monday. 29,923. If you lose that, you've got a 29,705. And it's sitting just above the 50-day moving average. It's 29,436. So it's possible we could get some flush. So be ready. Be ready. Although we've had some nice pullbacks here. So I think it's important right here. If we made higher highs, right, and we made higher lows. So still that structure, that bull structure, is still in place right now for the last week. So watch those levels right here. If you lose yesterday's low, then the structure's broken, and then we could get some flush. If you continue and you make a new high, then the bulls are still in play, right? Okay, let's get over to the Qs. Qs is going to look the same thing as the NASDAQ, same thing, higher highs, right, and a higher low, right? So still supporting the 20-day moving average. 723.73 pullback into the 20 would be nice. But you see pre-market right here, rejected here, and I think it came out. Rejected off of the ADP number that just came out. So we could get some flush, people. I would not be surprised to get a little flush. But watch out for liquidity for the next, towards the end of the day and tomorrow, because people may be taking long weekends, right? Anyways, if you lose the 20 at 723.75, you've got a 721.34 level right just below that, and then below that, 715. 715.76 is reasonable, because you would be losing yesterday's low. So mark your highs for today and mark your lows for today. So your low right here, you want to hold the 723.18 on the Qs. If you lose that, you're getting flush. If you could break above the highs from yesterday, 737.22, you're going to get some squeeze up to possibly new highs. But like I said, it's the first day of the month. So no need to be clicking the mouse button all over the place, right? Okay, let's get over to the Mag 7. We're going to fly through the Mag 7 really quick. So we'll get over to Tesla in a minute. Big sell-off on NVIDIA right now. 100 days, got to hold 196.63. If you lose that, I've got a regressional trend line here at 196. If you lose that, 194.74 is a low from May 5th. Got to hold that, and if you lose that, you could possibly come and test this 200-day moving average down at 190.84. Below that, I've got a 188.88 number there. So same thing as yesterday. Watch your highs from yesterday. Watch your lows from yesterday. If you breach one or the other, you can then think about taking your position in that direction on that break. So you kind of treat this like an opening range break, right? So mark your highs, and your high yesterday was sitting at 199.61, and your low was sitting right here at 195.11. So that's it for NVIDIA. And here we go. Apple is just kind of hanging around here. Line in the sand, got to hold the 287.22. If you hold that, you could get some resistance in the 50-day moving average at 292.25. Above that, you've got a 295.92 20-day moving average. I would say if you lose this structure right here, this is kind of a break in structure of this upward push. And if you lose 286.52, good chance you can flush all this out from yesterday and come on down to 281.85, and then you got some support at 280.18. If you lose that support at 280.18, got the 100-day moving average just below that at 276.41. 200 is also sitting at 270.03. All right, moving on. Meta, big spike pre-market. I don't know if there was news that came out on that. Not sure about that. We'll look that up later on. But big spike on Meta. There must have been some kind of an announcement there. I mean, a tremendous move, right? What is that? It is, holy cow, something big came out on Meta. Anyways, still reject, even though that news came out, still rejecting this 200-day moving average, 618.70. Watch that level right there. And then it's, you want to hold this 200-day, 20-day moving average, but looks like it's really way out of reach right now. Let's just take a look right now. Let's see what happened with Meta. And I don't see anything. Let's see here. So Meta shares are higher. It's building a cloud business to sell access to AI computers. Interesting. Well, we'll see if that holds up or not, but that's all pre-market, right? So you got to watch that. Anyways, let's move on here. Here, I've got some resistance levels up here at Meta at 637.77, and you got the 200 at 648.13. If you plow through that 200 at 648.13, I won't have anything until about 687.79, and then maybe even above that at 709.13. So whatever's happening with Meta today, maybe give a little bit of a life jacket to the market, which seems to be flushing out a little bit right now, but we're not sure. This is all pre-market, so who knows? This all can be retraced once the market opens up, right? So this is a 15-minute chart we're looking at right now. You know, first day of the month. Who knows? Could be a liquidity grab right now. Institutions pushing the market up so they can sell short. You never know. Anyways, be careful. First day of the month, people. Google right now. Same thing on Google. 355.39, yesterday's high. It's sitting below the 20-day moving average. Looks like you're going to get a little battle with that. If you break above that and break above the 20, you could move into that 363.09 level. Here's yesterday's low, 348.10. Same thing. Treat that as an opening range break. One of them breaks one way or the other. If you lose yesterday's low, 348.10, 344.12 is a 626 high. Come into that. If you lose that, you've got the 100-day moving average at 337.17. Above the 20-day, like I said, 363.09 and 367.23 on the 50-day moving average on the upside there for Google. Amazon, a bit of a shit show here, right? Excuse my language, but I would say for Amazon right now, consolidating a little bit, but you could see reject the 20 days, rejecting it 241.15, losing that level. It's kind of trading in between the 100-day and the 20. The 100-day is sitting at 234.97, but treat this the same way. I actually did not make a break of yesterday's high or yesterday's low. I actually made it for the 29, so a bit of a wider range here. 252.53 is your upside level for me. For Amazon. However, we are approaching this low, 233.38. If you lose that, you do have the 200 just below the 100 at 232.86. And if you lose both of those, you could flush down to this 226.10 level, which is a April 8th high. Okay, let's get over to Microsoft, and then we'll move on to SpaceX and Tesla, and then we will be done for the day. Microsoft, sitting below the 20-day at 391.65. In order for Microsoft to be comfortable getting along, I would like to see us regain that 100-day moving average at $400.61. Downside, if you lose 366.84, I think you're going to flush down here to this 349 level that I had here. Maybe test that level one more time, and if you lose that, come down to this regressional trend line that I have here from July of 2025 at 338.96. If you break this low, 381.90 on the high side, you could push to the 391.65 level. But you could see that seems to be a level that's given us some little bit of a headwind right now. So watch this close from yesterday, 373.02. If you lose the close, some flush could come into play, right? Okay, great. All right, let's cover SpaceX really quick, and then we'll get on to Tesla. So SpaceX, these levels are starting to give us some decent levels right now. It's starting to give us some stair-stepping higher levels right now. On the upside, if you can regain 376.52, I think you could push into this 396 level. And based on what I was saying earlier regarding the rebalancing, it doesn't necessarily mean just because 100 funds in the NASDAQ 100 have to make SpaceX part of their portfolio next week, which is July 6th. It doesn't mean the stock is going to go up. it could be already in play already right now. Everybody front running this play, right? So watch your levels right now. You can see right now this 176.52 level is rejecting. It's the high from the first day of the trade. And then on the downside here, you got a 615 low at 168.35. Important to to hold that level, as well as the close from yesterday, 171.02. You could be trading in a range today, 171 to 176 level. If you lose these levels, then you're going to flush back out to 157.01, which is an open point of control that we have here from June 29th. Okay, so let's get over to Tesla, and then we will get out of here. Tesla, you know, these support levels that we had here, or supply levels that we had here were pretty good. And then you could see our, the demand levels were pretty good down below. And now you could see our supply levels are starting to kick into play right now. So from Tesla, I'm not looking long unless you're above this 420.36. However, that being said, I do like our beautiful level that we've been talking about, which is this 414.50 level. All right, so let me clean this up for us. Yesterday in the trade room, we were talking about if Tesla needs to hold this 414.50 level. This is an old all-time high from November of 2021. Major level, got to hold that in order to stay long. If you lose 414.50, we're flushing back down here to the 406 level. Probability we are. Okay, upside over 420.36. I'd like us to potentially move into this 425.93 before you get a little more resistance up there. That is a Friday high from May 22nd, right? And you could see these levels right here. So now on the upside, though, if you can regain this 425 level, even though I had them highlighted in red supply areas, you could push and squeeze. So if you get above, if we do end up getting above this 431, I don't really have anything into this 445 level. So if Tesla really pushes that way, and then also keep in mind we do have these open point of controls. Let's clean this up so you can see this. We have an open point of control of 455.18. Above that, we have one at 478.39. However, I keep talking about this open point of control. We have down here 333.97, and currently there's really no reason in the world to be talking about the 333.97 right now until something happens, and if we have a flush, and then we get down to that level. So right now we're looking at our high side levels here right now. If you get above 420.36, could push into this close from Friday of May 22nd to 425.95. Right, so put these levels on your charts and trade off of them, right? So 414.50, very important to hold today. If we lose, we flush, okay? If we hold that, we could possibly push higher, 420.36, possibly. That's going to be your line in the sand for me today, right? Great. Let's get over to SpaceX really quick. I've been looking at SpaceX to trade SpaceX on the options. So they have weekly expirations. So tomorrow, if I was going to trade SpaceX today, I'm still looking at it. I'd have the 175 calls up here, and I'd have the 165 puts, and they would expire tomorrow. So you have a couple days on theta right here. So you could see right here, close at 170.86, and so these calls will probably open up probably pretty close to this, probably not even in the threes. And then you can see the 165, they closed at 195, and they're probably going to open up in the ones, maybe high twos, but we'll see how the market moves for that today and see if there's any volatility coming in. As far as Tesla goes, what we're going to do for Tesla today, we're going to trade today's expiration date and then possibly switch it to tomorrow's expiration date shortly after the market moves. So we're going to start 420 calls. You can see they closed at 445. However, we are below yesterday's close. Yesterday's close was right around here, 420-ish, give or take. So it closed at 445. We are holding the 200-day right now, so that's a good thing. So these 445s will probably open up the same, probably in the fours right now, maybe a little lower because you're losing theta. So it could be maybe low fours, high threes, right? As far as the puts are concerned, we're going to have today's expiration. We're going to use the 4. I'm going to change this to the based on where we're at. We're at the 419. I'm going to go to 415 puts. So that'll elevate these to $2 range. And as we're pushing towards this close from yesterday, we probably could open up in this area as well. I don't want to go to the in the money just yet. I may go in the money based on if the market pushes above this before the market opens. So we do have 35 minutes before the market opens. So anyways, that's going to be it for today. If there's other things that you want me to cover, don't be afraid, drop a comment down below. Also, don't forget to go down into the more, that word more, to open up the description. Join our newsletter by going to our website and putting in your name, your email address, and then you'll get automatic subscription, free subscription, weekly newsletter on Sundays. And then also below that, come and join our Discord community. You can join for free, and then if you like what you see, you can upgrade to our live trading room where we go over live trades, and also the new indicator, that the scalping indicator. It's an ORB, opening range indicator, and it pretty much plots out for you everything, from the opening range, so you don't have to sit here and toggle with it. It gives you probabilities, breaking. You could see yesterday an opening range break, and if you took that break yesterday, 410, and you took it to the first profit level that it had up here is 415, you made $5. And then even above that, it told you to still stay in this trade even until about 419. So you could have been in that trade all day. Down below, you have a nice little table here, and it tells you the range, it tells you the mid range, it tells you how many dollars in range there. It gives you range quality. It gives you a long grade quality. Gives you a short grade quality. It tells you your trade bias, long right now. It tells you right now state, there is no active trade. It tells you session, out of session right now, and it gives you your time frame that you're trading in. So this is coming. This will be coming online, and you will be able to get access to this within the next week or two. And that stuff is pretty exciting. So again, join everything, all the links and everything, so you can stay up to date on all the news that comes out. Aside from that, if I don't see everybody in the trade room, I will see everybody tomorrow. Remember, shortened week. And also remember, in a couple minutes, you have Kevin Moore speaking. So be careful if you're trading futures before the market. So anyways, have a nice day, and I will see everybody tomorrow.